I'm going to count on you in today's presentation, since I've been snowed under, to be active participant. I will give you an example of maybe a couple of conflicting advice and how we go about them. But then we'll go to the list, and what I'd like to see is 2, 3 teams, uh, each taking a turn as to address one set of conflicting advice. So can I have the first team, I'll call it Team A volunteers. I need 2 volunteers at least, but there could be more than one person on the team. So one will take the one advice, one will take the other, and it'll give us something to reflect on, to debate, etc. Obviously, we don't have a lot of time, but we will do our best. So Team A, I need at least 2 volunteers. Don't be shy, raise your hand or speak out, because I can't see you all. We have now grown to 161 in the room, so we have a few people. Any brave souls, or are you all chicken? Well, let me see. Those who happily always jump in to speak, at least you should come forward. Giant, can we count on you?
Yeah, sure. Always, I'm ready. I don't mind. I'm really happy.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you versus Charlotte. Are you with us, Charlotte? Sweet. You're always talking in the meetings. Where are you? Maybe she's not on today. I don't know.
We can have somebody from Abu Dhabi.
Okay, from Abu Dhabi, let me see. Who wants to volunteer? I want a lady from Abu Dhabi. Don't be shy. Come on. Okay, since nobody's jumping, Suhad, you can be the lady. All right?
Okay, good morning.
Good morning. Team 2. Any volunteers? We'll start with Rajiv in Abu Dhabi in Team 2. And versus, let's have a lady in Dubai. Who wants to come forward? If I can't see her, maybe you can suggest somebody. Sajeev, Giant, can you suggest somebody? A lady in Dubai?
Let's have Simriti. She is a good talker.
Okay. Can you agree so I can see you? Where are you? He suggested you, but I don't know if are you agreeing into that? Maybe are you sure she's on the call? Either she's hiding from us or she's not on the call. So we need Sajeev. Any other suggestion? Muted.
I will suggest Nova.
Noha. Are you with us, Noha? You seem to all suggesting people don't.
Yes.
Noha is there. Great. Okay. Let's just keep it to these 2 teams for now, so we don't take too much time doing it. So what do we mean by conflicting advice? Let me tell you. Often there are lots of common kind of pieces of wisdom, advice that are floated around. And if they're repeated enough, we seem to think is the absolute truth. And they're not. They just happen to be an advice that got repeated. And it's a big mistake to hear it and think, oh, I should heed that. There are many reasons that maybe that's not a good idea. So let's share with the table what will be kind of thing. So let's take this. Defense wins championship. But the other one says the best defense is a good offense. So is it defense or offense? We need to discuss that. Birds of a feather flocks together. We heard it so many times. Here we say opposite attract. We go to you're never too old to learn. You know what the opposite to that? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Okay. Why you're laughing, Sridhara? You're always learning. Don't count yourself amongst those. Okay. Clothes makes the man. Is that really how you dress, maybe? Or you can't judge a book by its cover. I see some are already excited to defend one or the other side of this equation. Absence make the heart grow fonder. Is that true? Or out of sight is out of mind. Yeah, some more agree with the second one. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Or better safe than sorry. So what do you want to go for? Venturing, taking risk, or play it safe? Or you get what you pay for. How many times have we heard that? Or the best things in life are free. Sometimes they're both true, by the way, but it's really not so much the specific advice, because I can list another 100, but it's how you approach them. Good things come to those who wait. This is like counsel patience. The early bird gets the worm. So whoever go for it first gets results. And the pen is mightier than the sword. So the words are really powerful. Here, action speaks louder than word. Which one is it? You got the idea how all these things bombard us, and we think one or the other is the truth, and perhaps it's not so that simple. So I'm going to take the first one. The early bird gets the worm, or good things come to those who wait. So if you take the first one, so I'm sharing it to give you some guidance as how I expect or hope you will address the remainder. So early bird gets the worm. Really, this works when you really want a proactive engagement. Okay, so you have to take the context. In what way, in what circumstances was this shared? You have to bear that in mind before you think which one is true. Good things come to those who wait when patience is key. Sometimes there's plenty of unknowns there, and waiting is the better answer. Okay, sometimes you want to be proactive because it's a window of opportunity that can close. So you must take the context into account. So that both can be true in the right circumstances. This one, weighing risks and rewards. So better safe than sorry, or nothing ventured, nothing gained. So here we go in a different way. Sometimes better safe than sorry works very well for major ventures where if you make a mistake, it's really irreversible. I think this is one of Jeff Bezos' advice. They will go after any project unless the project is of a certain magnitude or consequences that if you start, you cannot reverse. If it's a small project or it is a small error that you can correct for, then they will go always for it rather than wait. Nothing venture, nothing gains. You cannot innovate, you cannot test anything if you don't go down that route. So nothing venture, nothing gains really promotes for whenever the context and the mindset is innovation. So hopefully you got a feel for that. And hopefully when you talk, you give us some examples. So I hope I can relax now and pass the control to you guys. So defense wins championship. The best defense is a good offense. So this one we chose Giant and Suhad. So Giant, you can take the left side and Suhad the right side.
Can I take the best defense as a good offense, actually? Yeah.
All right, go for it.
I've come across clients wherein I've been told that it's better to play safe. You better be very defensive, be very passive, don't be active. So I didn't agree with that because I did my own research and I found out that specific clients need specific treatment. So I thought I'll go with a good offense. I will go with my ideas. I will go with innovation. I will go with a change. I will go with a very different kind of a presentation. So that was my defense, which I presented to this new client, and I succeeded. So I feel that the best defense is sometimes a good defense.
All right. Let me say you chose the easy one. Let's see if Suhad has an answer to that. Defense wins championship.
Okay, for me, I guess sometimes we should be aggressive to get whatever we need. So if we are in a competition, for example, I don't know if I understand correct. If we are in a competition, sometimes we should be aggressive in order to be the winner for that.
But you are handling the left side, which is defense. If you're aggressor, and you're not defending here, you're attacking, which is what Giant responded to.
Then, uh, mm, I don't
So
know
let me
exactly for
let me give you a little bit of a guidance. Let's say here, sometimes, let's say, even in a match, whatever, whether it's football or something else, if you sense that your opponent is likely to make errors, and if you defend long enough and keep the game going long enough, they will actually make enough unforced errors, like say in tennis, and you could win the match by just keep on defending. They do this often in football. They really put on a very strong defense to exhaust the other side and then go for the score. So that could be another way. Does that make sense?
uh, yeah, but nothing coming to my mind for the same. That's why.
Okay. Now, what about, let's say, in dealing, since you are dealing with HR, in dealing with a person that, let's say, being very aggressive,
Okay, you
would
should
you
take a
jump?
scan.
Would you
Okay.
escalate and jump and fight back and go into an escalation yourself?
No, I will let him fall in his mistake. So I will put all the mistake or the blame on him. Yani, I will wait.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about really trying to sort of make him the one who makes mistake. It's just escalating. Sometimes you need to let somebody, if you like, vent and get it off their chest. If you go into offensive as well, they're onto the offensive, we just have a crisis.
Mm,
Okay?
mm-mm.
All right, let's go to the next one. Birds of a feather flock together. If you don't understand the meaning, please speak out, then I'll try and explain it before we go any further. So here, let me see. We selected Rajiv and Noha. What do you think? Which one, let ladies first choose. Which one do you want to take, the right or the left side? Need to remove yourself from mute.
I will choose the right. Opposites attract.
Okay, all right. And that leaves you with birds of a feather flock together. What do you think, Rajiv?
So I'm speaking for the right, correct? For
You are. So I'm starting with the left usually to the right, but that doesn't matter. Rajiv, are you ready to say something?
Yeah, yeah. See, basically, it all depends. It all happens when during uh, a class reunion or something, where all the students of the same class, goes to a place and they all look like if somebody is mischievous, they are always mischievous. So they will be in one corner, doing the same thing which they've been doing all the time. So the guys who are studious will be, flocked together with those guys who are always there. But
So so you're saying it's a valid advice. This is what you have observed happens, right?
I wouldn't say it's a valid advice, but I'm just explaining the context here. But surprisingly, in our class, the full class is a they all flock together. Like we were around 53 of them, like all look alike. So
Mm. Okay. I've seen it when we do staff parties, all the birds flock together, and that really what makes the party less effective because you get exactly that grouping and end up, well, instead of mingling and people get to know each other, we get all these birds flocking together. So, Noha, tell us, what do you think about opposite attract?
I would say the same thing what he said actually, and kind of contradict on that because even in the same classroom, if you see, there's different types of people, and he said that they all end up, working together. So that kind of explained how opposites do attract. Even like in teams at work, there's people with different strengths and weaknesses, but together when they execute for a specific goal, especially in work environments, I think opposites do attract in those scenarios.
Yeah. Okay, valid. And I would say also, uh, often the comfort factor is with birds of a feather. You go to the same nationality, language, religion, etc. People flock on those bases. But actually, the maximum benefit from any interaction, human interaction, is when you find an opposite, somebody who is not from your background, not from your religion, not from your language, not from your location, and suddenly you think, my God, I've learned an awful lot in that 15 or minutes or half an hour. So that is something to remember and not lose sight of. Okay, great. Thank you. So we have two teams. Now I need another third team. Abrar, you're on. I see your face in the middle of my screen. So you're selected and you're opposite in Dubai. Can we have a lady in Dubai again? If not, I will put it on Suhail. Is there anybody recommending a lady in Dubai? Come on, help me, guys. You're only have to recommend. You don't have to even speak. Okay, we'll stick with that. Abrar versus Suhail. Are you all right, guys, with that?
Yeah, good morning, Faiz. Yes, Faiz.
Okay. All right, let's see what's the. Hopefully, it's not one I covered. You are never too old to learn. You can't teach old dog new tricks. So, select, guys. Suhail, which one would you like? You're muted, huh? Muted. Suhail. Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, now you're audible.
Okay. So I would choose you are never too old to learn. And so
No,
the
that's enough. We will come back to you. And Abrar, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Okay. Now we'll start as usual on the left. Go ahead, Suhail. You're never too old to learn.
I would say it's just today the changing world. Okay, there's a lot of learning which is available, and it's just that person how we takes it. So it's really I mean, looking at our business itself. Okay, looking at the MPS and the supplies and some MPS, we have technologies. So the ever changing environment, and it's yes, we are learning to everyday basis. So I would say, you're never too old to learn. Uh,
Okay. Bill, we only have a couple of minutes each. So what I don't want is, I'm not asking you to agree or disagree with this. Just try and see what it means to you, and if possible, give an example. So let me just tell you, as an example, you guys, especially anybody 40 plus, can get that illusion that learning is for the young minds. Nothing like that, nothing truthful about that. The mind is really plastic. If it is used to learning, it will continue to learn as fast and as frequently as any mind. So you're never too old to learn. And frankly, if you stop learning, you become an old bore. And you go into conversation and only reminisce about the past incidents, behaviors, So avoid that. Otherwise, especially in a technology company, you would be in trouble. So we'll go now to Abrar. You can't teach an old dog new tricks now. In view of what I said, that maybe make it a bit harder for you to work on that one. Go ahead, Abrar.
So this is in the context of someone who has been used to doing things a particular way, especially when a person gets a little older, he gets comfortable, with his routine. And the classic example is, for example, my parents, they are so used to using the old technology or the old phones. When the revolution came, when touch screens started, and I kept pushing them to, go to the new technology, but they found it really, really hard. And I could not understand it. I was not able to relate to it. And I was a techie person. I was young. So I was so excited with the new stuff. But their mind kept kept them going back to the old stuff, the keypad and the Nokia and all that. So that's the classic example. So as a person becomes comfortable, maybe with the age factor, with a limitation on the learning new tricks, it becomes they're so fixated on a particular thing that their mind does not want them to explore new things. So this could be the one that.
Yeah, that's very true. Please keep in mind also that it may not be necessarily a bad thing, let's say for the parents. The old ways gives them comfort, give structure to their life. And not everybody has to be at the forefront and at the cutting edge of technologies. We have to really allow for that. As we get older, nothing gives more comfort and happiness to older people than a structured life. They know where they put things, what time they eat, when they go for their walk, when they see their loved ones. So trying to push them to stay young and learning and proactive may not be the best recipe. So we always have to remember that.
Faiz, I know why Sridhara is laughing before, everybody is serious here. So for all the men out here, I think, we are all learning every day from our wives daily. So that's why everybody is laughing here.
Okay. So next one, clothes make the man. You can't judge a book by its cover. We only have 2 minutes left, so I need to move a bit faster and move on. So we'll just cover this one. We don't have time for all of them. I think you're getting the idea. So I will use Sridhara since you brought him on the screen in Abu Dhabi, and maybe who would we have? Murgesh in Dubai. Okay, Murgesh? Okay, so I'll let Sridhara go ahead. Clothes make the man.
Cloth is also an attitude that, okay, how do I present myself? So definitely, okay, I feel it is, it shows that, okay, what I am.
Yeah.
And I believe that, okay, cloth makes the man. There's no doubt about it.
You do, okay.
Yes.
There is a whole spectrum. I agree with you. If you say you go into, let's say, a meeting as a top-notch successful salesman, but you're wearing tatty clothes, you look old-fashioned, you look really haggard in your clothing, it's hard to convince the other that you're really successful. So it does make it. Yet you have to be careful because the billionaires these days wear jeans with holes in the knees. So if you really take that to an extreme, most of the very rich now try to be so casual. It's unbelievably casual. They may be driving a Ferrari still, but they're wearing torn-out jeans. So let's see, you can't judge a book by its cover. Go ahead, Urgesh.
Yes, Vice. Yeah, though I believe in cloth makes the man, at work is important, but I do believe, I think we always say when you meet someone, you leave a legacy behind when you meet someone, right? So that also carries a value. It's what you speak and how do you present yourself to a customer. It makes a difference. Um, Not necessarily always the cloth makes the man.
Yeah, that's true. And certainly for books, if you buy books on colorful covers, you're more likely to be disappointed than not. So, and I have seen also some people dress like they are the CEO of a top investment bank, and yet everything they have is on borrowed money. That is, unfortunately, is very true in this country. Appearances are so important. You find there are some people who are in debt to their ears, but they appear to be the symbol or epitome of success. And you don't want to be one of those. So I'm going to jump to the next one because of time limit. So let me go back into it. So to have immunity against bad advice, always look for the source. Who's telling you this? Because you always, also they have an agenda. The context really is critical, as we have seen in a previous discussion. Always look at different perspective. Okay, this is true in this kind of a viewpoint. From that viewpoint, is it true? In the bigger scheme of things, like I talked about the old people, maybe, yes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but in the bigger perspective, it's their comfort, their happiness, stability is also important, not just teaching them new tricks. And usually, if you want to succeed, allow yourself to try, test, like we talked about the bird of a feather flock together. Maybe go for an opposite and see how that works for you. That's also very important. So keep those in mind whenever you get advice before you jump on it, because it sounds true. You've heard it a few times. Keep that in mind. And remember that advice reflects the advisor's thoughts. Whoever tells you, you have to ask yourself, I wonder how his thinking is, his biases are, etc. Remember that before you take it on board. I hope you've learned something from this. Have a great day. Thank you.